Well, we face a very difficult task tomorrow. Irvine is really a good basketball team. Anytime you see a +7 on the rebounding and their defensive numbers, really impressed with what I've been able to see. And you win 31 games, that's not by accident. 17 in a row, and we think we're kind of on a roll because we won 9 and they've won 17. So good ball club, deep, experienced, fifth-year seniors, guys that have played together a long time under Russ's system, very well coached. We're not going to be able to make some of the mistakes we've been making and be successful. So very difficult game for us. One day to get ready, and I'm hoping our guys will get to rest and be ready to go tomorrow night at 6:40.
Great. Questions from the right side? Second row.
Coach, kind of along that same line, how easy is it, or how difficult, I guess, is it to flip that switch and scout a team like that in such a short period of time? You do it at the Pac-12, but you've seen those teams before. How do you do it in this position? Well,
we've had a couple coaching assistants working on the games. Possibility of playing Kansas State and Irvine. We went to work on those teams just in case we were in this position. So Kevin and I worked on getting ready for Wisconsin, and then the other coaches were working on, and so now it's just getting ready for them. And we had a lot of information, a lot of tape ready to go, and the scouting report was ready to go. It's just now getting it across to the team. It doesn't matter whether I know it or the assistant coaches know it. It's how much our guys know, and so you go back to what you believe is a defensive philosophy, a rebounding philosophy. You try to apply those things. Shots that we can't give up. Shots that'll get us beat. So we talk to them about those types of things and their offensive sets to try to get those shots. So I think they'll be ready. We're this one thing about playing in the Pac-12. You play a lot of Thursday, Saturdays. Thursday, Sundays. So you're used to the one day off. So the Friday, Sunday doesn't bother us. We're used to having a day to get ready for the next opponent, and in that regard, I think our routine throughout the season helps us.
Go in that about 6 rows back in the middle.
Speaking of the Pac-12, is there a team in the Pac-12 that reminds you of Irvine, or that Irvine reminds you of?
Not really. Back a few years ago, Arizona, used to play the big guys and really try to beat you up in the lane. And defensively, when you drove it, everybody collapsed. So going back to some of those good Arizona teams, I think that's a little bit of similarity. They shoot the three well. They're a little slower paced than most teams in our league. But I guess going back a few years, some of those Arizona teams that were big and physical, the 4 guys they rotate inside, they just, they're physical. They try beating you up. That's how they're a +7 on the boards, and why they don't give up anything in the paint. They're not afraid of foul trouble. They're not afraid to be aggressive.
Additional questions? We'll come back in the front on the right.
Dana, we were talking earlier about how fun this tournament is because of all the Cinderella stories, the underdogs or the mid-majors. But this doesn't necessarily seem like a Cinderella team that you're going to be facing. As you said, it's a team that's won 31 games. Does it seem, I guess, I asked the guys, does it seem like a Cinderella matchup to you or to the team?
I haven't talked to the team about it, so I don't know how they feel about it, but I don't. I look at their ball club and it reminds me of some of our good Creighton teams back when we were in the Valley. We never thought of ourselves as Cinderellas or underdogs, and I'm sure they don't either. So they don't think of themselves as Cinderella, and I sure don't. Again, I haven't discussed it with the team, and so I have no idea what they're thinking. But as a coaching staff, we definitely don't. They're a big physical team. Kansas State, they're Big 12 co-champs, you know, and if you watch the two teams, you didn't see any physical difference in the teams. You know, it didn't look like Cinderella or Goliath, you know, David and Goliath. It, you know, looked like two good basketball teams. And so their athleticism's good, their depth is good. Again, they're playing guys that are older, redshirted, you know. So, you know, we've got 4 freshmen that we're trying to play, and so it's kind of a different makeup of our team compared to theirs. Theirs is an old physical team, and, you know, ours is kind of a young team that trying to figure things out yet.
Go on the left.
Hayden Herrera, NBC 16 Eugene. Coach, I know you're not on Twitter personally, but Jim Leavitt, Oregon's former defensive coordinator, had some well wishes for you yesterday. Called you a great friend. What does it mean to just, even though he's not connected to the university anymore, he still got that support from a fellow coach? Maybe not in the same sport, but a fellow coach.
Well, we probably should have talked to Jim about our defense earlier in the year, but no, he's a good friend. We've known each other for 30 years. You know, our relationship goes back, to 89, 90 when he came to Kansas State. So I've known him for 30 years, and so you know that's the great thing. We even had some K-State people cheering for us last night. So I was there a long time ago. Went there in '86 and spent 7 years there. So. 2 of my children were born in Manhattan, so a lot of good memories. But no, I appreciate everybody who's, you know, we've had a lot of people reach out. A lot of people know how frustrated we were throughout the year. It wasn't going quite as planned, but it is sure good to have everybody on our side now that we're playing a little bit better.
Yeah, we'll go back. Yep, come up here. Second row, and then we'll go back a couple. Okay.
Dana, you talked the other day about teams that shoot well behind the arc and running them off the line. This is a team, UC Irvine, that can shoot well from the 3. I think they got 3 guys that shoot pretty well. How do you defend that and still rim protect at the same time?
Well, you know, we're probably not going to ask Kenny to get out there too often, and you know, we've had a little problem when teams have really spread us out, but. You know, we can't let Hazard get going. I mean, he's proven when, you know, he gets going, you know, he's a handful. And, you know, their other 3-point shooters are consistent too. You know, they actually have 5 guys that, you know, that we're kind of concerned about. So we're going to have to do a good job of locating those shooters. You know, they're going to hit some, but we just can't give up uncontested ones. You know, if they hit contested threes, that's just part of the game. You know, and there's some nights where teams are throwing it in, and there's not a darn thing you can do about it. But you know, we just can't give up easy ones or ones that they consistently get in their offense. You know, so when you're watching film as a coach and you see, you know, a player getting a shot consistently and knocking that shot down, you know, those are the ones you show your team and say, fellas, you know, we can give up this one, but this one's going to hurt us. And hopefully in a day our guys understand that, and we don't give up too many of those looks.